วัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rose Chitanuwat. I'm going to be the moderator for the webinar today. The webinar today will be focusing on the future of the packaging, but it's not just only the future of it, but it will be on the sustainable packaging in the future for the beverage industry. Today we have our honorable guest speaker, which is in cooperation of Thai Beverage Industry Association. They are our supporter for the ProPak Asia exhibition. ProPak Asia 2020 exhibition will be taking place in Bangkok during 20 to 23rd of October. So in this situation of pandemic COVID-19, we are going to face a lot of issue on the social distancing and even the standard on hygiene and safety of our stakeholders, exhibitors, visitors, and all the participants to the event. However, with that situation, ProPak is ready to welcome all of you to the exhibition at Bangkok during 20 to 23rd of October. However, for those in international from abroad who cannot travel in, we also offer you with the online, which is similar to the webinar here, which you are not here, but you can really watch our webinar. And in the same thing, we are going to participate through the online exhibition that Informa Markets developed a platform to serve you as a ProPak Asia virtual exhibition during 19 to 25 of October. So right now, not to waste time in organizing this webinar, because our guest speaker are from very well-known company in the can and glass business. So I have two speakers with me. The first one, lady from Ball Corporation, Miss Wannarot Tantranon. She is the Asia Sustainability Manager for the Ball Corporation. She will cover all the topic about the can industry, which is about what is the circularity of the aluminum can. You will see with her later on. The second speaker we have together here is he is our guest speaker from BGC, which is the largest producer for the glass container in Thailand and export the glass container to around the world. So he is Mr. Silparat Wattanagaseth. So he will be speaking on the sustainability in container glass. So not to waste our time to watch the presentation from our beautiful lady, Kun Wannarot. I think she is ready to present about the circularity of aluminum can. Kun Wannarot, are you ready? I will pass this stage to Kun Wannarot now. สวัสดีค่ะ So Kun Wannarot is here.
สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ
So I give the stage to you. I come back later at the question and answer session.
Thank you so much, Kun Rose, for a very kind and warm introduction. So hello, everybody. My name is Wannarot Nat Tantranon. Thank you so much for joining my presentation today. So I am a sustainability lead and business development for Ball Corporation here in Asia. Just one moment. Thank you. And today I will be covering the subject of real circularity and the enablers of the circular economy. We are already aware now of the impact of the packaging pollution crisis is growing every day. Society is now moving towards a truly circular economy, and where it is expected the materials can be and actually are used over and over again. Then I'll address the subject of our beverage packaging, can circularity by design. And just to cover a few points on aluminum cans are made of infinitely recycled material, and how is homogeneous material, how it can easily be sorted and 100% recycled back to new cans, which ultimately save resources and energy to produce the coil in the first place, and by 95%. Then I'd like to discuss our commitments, our ambitions, and our goals about designing fully circular products, that is product stewardship, climate leadership, and sustainability in our own operation. How we are working towards improving recycling rates, supporting the world and Asian region to improve recycling rates. How we are investing in green infrastructure to increase recycling beyond just collection, and transparently and accurately measuring the impacts of our products through circular life cycle assessment. Just waiting for the slide to move here. So here, before we go on real circularity, first of all, we need to understand what people's current mindsets are when it comes to sustainable packaging. So the old thinking of perhaps both consumers and brands is more about resource efficiency. We would look at the weight reduction of packaging and how can we make the packaging smaller. We would look at removing content and the thickness of the packaging so it weighs less. We would also look at the linear life cycle assessment. And by linear, we're referring this to seeing the starting point of procuring the raw material to the production of packaging, to the filling and consumption, then disposal. This would only focus on carbon footprint as measurement of the environmental impact. How that's been shifted now and what the interim economy currently stand is looking at recyclability and recycled content as well as collection. Consumers are looking for and looking at their packages and checking if it's made from a recycled content or is it recyclable, and what's the collection levels are. However, this is also relatively difficult for consumer to distinguish whether that actually suitable for them to purchase or whether the packaging achieve their desires. So therefore, what we like to move towards and what we believe consumer will move toward is that real circularity. And when we talk about real circularity, we're looking at, is it truly recycled? And by that, not just collected or not just recycled content or not just that it's recyclable, but a truly recycled circle. And then do we need to then redesign, and do we need to look at things differently to achieve real circularity? Then from a life cycle assessment, we will begin to look at circular perspective instead of starting from the raw material and finishing at the disposal. Ideally, we would like to loop it back all the way from procuring the raw material in the first place to the packaging, returning back in full into the raw materials. So once the product is designed to be recycled, it opens up a lot of opportunities and new businesses models, not just for ourselves, but for also our customer, our consumer, and as a whole, by giving them more options and choices. So when we're talking about real circularity, it is about a circle that never ends. that's infinite real circularity. To achieve real circularity, we have identified 4 key components of that. Essentially, in best case scenario, it will need to be 100%. So therefore, after the product has been consumed or used, 100% of that get collected. Once 100% of the product has been collected, and 100% of the materials are sorted and disassembled. So where we may currently be able, for example, segregate 100% of aluminum, we may also face other challenge where in some packaging, you may have to remove a label, a top, or a cap. And therefore that 100% sorted allow each of the material then following to the next part of the chain, which is yield recycling. So once 100% are sorted and disassembled, then you have your new yield, and 100% of that yield is then be able to recycle. And then once you have 100% of yield recycle, then we want to be able to have 100% of that yield to put back into the same product of the same value. So when we're ticking all these boxes, are 100%, that's only when we're really achieving the real circularity, which support the mind shift of the consumer. So real recycling will soon be the norm, and what does it mean? And so in the future, for packaging to be claimed as recyclable, it will have to satisfy all of these points. It will have to show its collection, it will have to show its collection, it's collectible, and it's being collected. It will have to show that it is 100% recyclable, not just a small portion of it. And it has to be easily sorted, and the sorting system have to be in place that are easy to, and being able to identify and remove it from other product from the sorting process. And it has to have a high recycled content. And once you have that, then each part need to also be easily separated. So if you want to do the sorting, you may be able to, once they segregated the package with, for example, contain 3 materials, are the 3 materials be able to removed and separated. And finally, from that, the output material also has to have a value within the existing market. So if after all the process of collecting, sorting, the separation has been done, if and then it has no value at the end, it is not economically viable. So when we're talking about recycling, it's quite important to understand that not all levels of recycling are the same. First of all, that product to product loop, and that essentially where you take the product, it then get consumed and get recycled and returned as a raw material and ultimately returned back into the exact same product. That's truly the product to product loop, and ultimately is the best in terms of recycling. Then there's also material to material loop, which is in a sense from a value perspective is still a positive step, where you take material such as aluminum, recycling it, and perhaps it goes on to become your next mobile phone, your car. It still has the value, but the property, etc., may be slightly variant. And there's a potentially that it's going to increase, there's a potential increase in some losses throughout that process. So then finally, the downcycling to the lower value material, it's taken a product where a higher product get recycled and then that property are lost and then result in a lesser value product. That lead to the downward spiral, as you can see from the bottom here, to ultimately waste, and that is unrecyclable. And here are just some of the key facts around the cans that are important to highlight. So the first one is cans are 100% and infinitely recyclable. Not many people are aware of this fact. And this is something going forward we will be driving, and I will share more details later on. The can is also #1 recycled beverage container in the world, with 69% recycling rate globally, which we intend to grow and try to achieve to the closest to 100%. All cans are equally recyclable, irrespective of color or design. So in some products where a brand will like to differentiate, with different color of the packaging, then that lead on to the product that is less recyclable. Where cans in respective of different designs, color, or complexity, the recyclability remain the same. Cans are very easy to sort. There's many different sorting methods, which I will cover shortly, but it's very simple compared to other products. Aluminum also stay the same quality after recycling. They continue to have the same element and property. The recycled aluminum reduces 95% the energy required to produce aluminum when utilizing raw aluminum as opposed to recycled aluminum is a 95% reduction in energy. And therefore, driving recycling rate is very crucial for the circular economy. So with this slide showing aluminum can is poised to be the packaging closest to the perfect cycle. Some of the things we need to continue to address is driving to achieve that almost perfect cycle for aluminum beverage can. It's continual focus around high collection that potentially through extended producer responsibility in certain regions, we can support the already existing infrastructures by also looking at where they are on deposit return scheme system and with supporting of latest technologies in order to make easier for consumer to recycle. We are also looking at aluminum recovery technologies within the recycling stream. We also continue to maintain the high sorting of our yields, so it keeps, so keeping it simple and less expensive to sort, and easy separation for each component of the product with the product design that fit for real recycling. As we're looking into extending our product range, such as aluminum bottles, how do we do that in such a way that the product continue to be homogeneous and simple and in separation process? As for a high remelting yield, we're looking into low material losses and low energy input from the remelting process and using 100% renewable energy. And again, from the high recycle content, keeping the same value maintained through driving recycling and collection initiatives to keep the cycle continuity in perpetually. So here is the circularity of the can in Asia and how the system works. So from the first left top hand corner, from the can collection after disposal, really starting a lot, as you may have seen and known in Asia, is from the informal sector. So the cans are recovered in sorting centers and then taken to a junk shop or an aggregator, where they will be compressed and easily transported to a larger aggregator for baling, and then returning to the smelting facility. So once returned to the smelting facilities, then the inks and coatings are removed before remelting and recovered, so actually used as energy for the smelting. So around 500 degrees, the coatings are burnt off, and gases that produce are then used for the additional step of the remelting. Aluminum then recycle into ingot, and once it produced to the ingot, then roll out into a new coil and then sent back to the can manufacturing facility to go into its new cycle. Thank you. So as mentioned, we need to continue to support this informal sector. What we did in 2019 is we conducted an in-depth study. Moreover, working with aluminum supplier actually helped them reach to the aggregators and bring that source closer to them to maintain the value of the recycled aluminum cans and then easily return. And then we also need to focus on the education aspect and continue to support with local schools about recycling campaigns and education system. As the recycling sector develop and grow, awareness is also brought to the community. So as you can see here, our global recycling rate, aluminum cans are already the world's most recycled beverage packaging at 69% real recycling rate across the globe. So the beauty of aluminum recycling is really its recycling yield. It's absolutely unmatched on performance. So no other material can compare to the same level of recycling yields of aluminum. In the cans themselves, only 1.5% of its weight is lacquer and inks, and they're responsibly removed and used for the thermal needs in the furnace. And then the remelting losses are very minimal, between 2 to 4% compared to other material, which are considerably higher. So this is another slide on recycling rate and where we are today. As you can see here that Southeast Asia is already in the 90% region. This also highlights the three systems that are currently being used across the globe. First is the deposit system, is where at the point of purchase, a deposit price is added to a product, and therefore enabled for you to get your deposit back, you have to return the product itself. Another system is the curbside system, especially in Europe and North America, obviously excluded the deposit states, which is where the bins and waste collection are provided to the household, where the house would themselves do the sorting, and then it will get collected by the local collectors. Another system is collector systems, as discussed in previous slides. The informal sectors where people see the value within the waste, and therefore businesses are created for collections, and that system is actually showing some of the highest rate around the world. In Brazil, it's at 97%, and in Southeast Asia at 90%. Cans also have a higher compaction ratio of 12:1 than any other packaging products. So what it means is that when transporting them as recycled medium, there's a 12-to-1 ratio compared to the original size. Makes it very good for baling and transportation to return to recycling facility and continue the life cycle. And cans are recycled already in a very large scale plants. So this is not a sci-fi, not something of fiction. This is something that already happening here and now. On an average, in Asia, we see around 70% of recycled content in our aluminum coil already. And as previously mentioned, metal recycles forever, not just a few times, and it will continue to be recycled. So here, looking at aluminum as a high value packaging substrate, Ball continue to innovate and drive new opportunities. Ball started in the glass business, and now we have moved to purely aluminum beverage packaging. And now we're currently looking into more opportunities for aluminum cups as an environmental friendly solution for venues such as stadiums, sporting events, and festival. So truly commercializing sustainability to differentiate and capture growth in this conscious consumer trends that are growing and becoming more and more environmentally concerned and demand of a more sustainable product. Can you please change the slide for me? Thank you. So Ball Worldwide now is implementing the Metal Recycle Forever logo on our beverage packaging, as the research shows that consumers are being more inquisitive when choosing a product and when looking at the packaging to make their decision. So this is to help drive the message of can circularity and drive the people to understand that metal is infinitely recyclable. Further to that, building brand on sustainability, and as you may see on social media, on a lot of medias now, that many brands have come forward and utilize aluminum cans to offer a sustainable product for consumer and telling their sustainability story to stay relevant. More and more brands go forward with water in aluminum cans as an eco-friendly solution for consumer. So for real circularity at Ball, there are 5 aspects that we are working towards to. First is ASI. So ASI is Aluminum Stewardship Initiative that responsibly source aluminum and looking into recycled content. Also stewardship and responsibility all around our suppliers' processes. Then ensure that our cans has no material of concerns by ensuring that all materials are graded to silver or gold level. We are continue to work on providing metal efficiency in our product and then looking at our own sustainability in operation, our climate leadership through utilizing 100% renewable energy. And as mentioned, continue to work on maximizing the recycling rate in order to achieve higher recycled content. And in summary, just to conclude all the key points and highlights, again, the key facts around why aluminum cans are the sustainability champions is because of our product design, our homogeneous material. It is easily and economically viable to collect and recycle. pull tab integrated and comes back with the can, so it doesn't contaminate into the environment and not contaminate for other materials. The cans is fully recyclable despite of colors and format. Metal recycle forever, not just a few times, and the can has a high economic value of used beverage cans. So that's really enables the circular economy and keeps the cycle of the can recycling going. So, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
I saw a lot of questions already come in. So what I would do, like we will gonna do the question again in the after part. So just give you a brief a bit to, there is some question about the aging society, how the can business is adapting to the aging society. So I will come back to you later. So right now we have our other speaker, which is from BGC. He is going to cover on the glass business is another future of the packaging industry. So the sustainable is the key area that the company BGC is working on. And today we have our guest speaker who is the CEO from BGC, Kun Silaparat Wattanakase. So he is with me on the video webinar today. So the topic that he is going to cover on the sustainability of the glass can. So very interesting that Kun Manarot already say can from the tin is also the champion for the sustainability and recycling. So we are going to hear from another expert. So BGC is producing the glass container. I would say that the biggest producer in Thailand and focus on export and domestic usage as well. I think Kun Silaparat is ready with us here. So may I invite Kun Silaparat Wattanakase, Chief Executive Officer, and interestingly, he is also the Chief Operating Officer on the energy side of PGC. Please welcome Kun Silaparat.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Silaparat. As Kun just been introduced, I have two roles. One is my main role is to cover the glass packaging, or you can say the glass bottle. Today I'm going to talk to you or go through with you, as Kun Rumpet said, on the sustainability in glass bottle, glass package, or glass packaging. Having said that, let me give you a brief background about our companies, how we become the largest, or one of the, I think we are the largest, I can say that, in Thailand in terms of glass packaging. And then later I will show you what is our role in terms of sustainability. Okay, so let me start my first page. BG's container glass, BGC today has about 40-year history. We started our company in 1974, so almost more than 40 years that we have been in the business. I circle the two. I mean, there have been many things happens during our 40 years journeys, but I circle the two most important things that happened with us. The first one happened in 1983 when we have Bunlot Brewery, the largest beer company in Thailand, becoming our major shareholder. So right now, Bunlot Brewery has indirectly about 70% of share in our business. The second circle I put here is when we went to IPO, listed in the Stock Exchange of Thailand. So on October 18, 2018, we joined the stock exchange market, and then we become a listed company. So right now, about 30% of our share, is listed in the stock exchange market, and the rest, 70% is owned by Bunrod and some other big beverage companies in Thailand. So these are the brief. This is the brief history about our business. I talk about we joined the SET stock exchange market because it's also one of the main driving force as of today in our sustainability effort. I give you our priorities, our mission. One of our mission number 5, you can see that we talk about sustainability. So we talk about finance, we talk about our customers, we talk about our vendors, our business partner, we talk about our people, and last but not least, we talk about community. So we're saying that we want to enhance value of business and global sustainability. And we did mean that when we wrote that in our mission, and we have several actions to drive this mission to happen in the real world. Okay, so this is our mission, our company mission. Next page is a brief. Next please. Next page is a brief, guideline about our company. We have in total 5 factories all over Thailand. We have 11 furnaces in these 5 factories, 35 production lines. We produce about 1.3 million tons of glass packaging per year. 1.3 million tons equal about 4 billion pieces per year, and our turnover is around 12 billion per year. So we are not a small company. We consume, we use lots of energy, we use lots of raw materials. So sustainability is very important for us to drive or to incorporate into our business. Okay. We sell our product mostly. We sell only glass bottle. We sell in 5 big categories. Beers. We sell beers in brown, or we call amber bottles. We sell clear and amber bottles. We call it Flint in the soft drink and food. And we also have insecticide, drugs, and other products in our portfolio. We sell about 90% domestic locally, and we have about 10% that we export to CLMV, to Australia, to Europe, and to the USA. So we have both our business in both local and export market abroad. So this is our supply chain, which I want to go through this page briefly because I want to tell you how we, incorporate, put our sustainability in terms of our supply chain and production process. I will start from number 1. We have our main raw material, number 1 and 2. Our main material is a cullet. Cullet is a jargon. Actually, it's a broken glass that we process the broken glass and then we recycle it into our furnace. Okay. Then we mix all the raw materials. We put number 4 in the furnace. We mill it and then we put in the mold. Number 5, so form it into bottles. After we form it into bottles, we anneal, we bake it. We make it become stronger. Then we inspect. Number 7, we put it in box on tray number 8, and then we put it in warehouse. We deliver on number 10 to our customer, which is number 11. So you can see that we in terms of raw material, we use lots of cullets. We use around about 600,000 tons of cullets per year. So that's one of the points that we use lots of recycle or reuse glass in our process. Okay, this is our brief process. You can imagine that our process is like baking a cookie. Actually, we mix all the raw material, and then we put it in a furnace. We melt it together. We mix it together. We put in the mold. We form it into a shape of a product, and then we bake it. And then we inspect. We select only the good cookies or good butter. We pack it and then we sell it out. We deliver it. We sell it out. So my next page gonna be the main topic on how the glass container and related to what we say sustainability. When we talk about the 3 R's, we use reduce, recycle. Right now we use BCG economy more. There are lots of points that we do this in our process. I talk to you about let me go through the bullet points with you. The first one, reusable. We use reusable raw materials, which is cullet. As I told you, or as I said, we use about 600,000 tons of cullet per year, which is huge. So meaning that every bottle that we sell, we have the supplier who collect it back, break it into small pieces, treat it, clean it, and then we put it back into our furnace to melt it. That's the first point that the first of the major points that we use the reusable raw material. In terms of energy, we use lots of energy. We use lots of natural gas and other alternative energies. Our cost in terms of energy is about 200 million baht or 2 million baht per year, which is also not small. So we have to find lots of method to save the energy. We have like a software to control the temperature inside the furnace. In the furnace, the temperature is around 1,600 degrees Celsius. So lots of energy consumed by each furnace. So if we reduce only let's say 1% of the energy, we reduce lots of natural gas and other alternative energies. Not only the furnace that we have to reduce, all over the process also use lots of other natural gas. So we put hybrid equipments, use both electricity and natural gas into our system as well to make sure that we use less of the natural gas. Which is electricity is more renewable. In terms of reusable energy. Third point, pollution management. Of course, is by law. We need to have a control to manage the pollution. But at BGC, we put more equipment to make sure that we are better than what required by the government to make sure that we deliver the water that we use. Actually, we use the water in the closed system, so the water will not go out from our factory. But in terms of gas, air that we use, we also make sure that we clean it out before we send it out to outside the factory. Also, we have different plants and warehouse locations, so we save lots of delivery costs and energy in terms of delivery as well. We also work with suppliers and customers in terms of BCG module. So we have our own cullet suppliers. We have energy transportation, water design, lightweight. So to save, the glass liquid and reusable bottles that we use with supplier and customer in terms of to save energy and to make it more sustainable. What I want to say is about reusable bottles. Our customers, many of our customers use returnable or reusable bottles. So, for example, one of our biggest beverage use around 2 billion bottles per year. Half of that 2 billion is returnable, and another half is the new bottles. So when talking about sustainability, customers also have choice to reuse it, the bottle, not only to use only new bottles from us. Our CSR campaigns also, targets on world sustainability. We have water consumption. We have other things, to drive our CSR activities in terms of sustainability. And last but not least, actually, it's very important to us. We are in the process. As we are a member of Stock Exchange of Thailand, we are in the process of certifying to the THSI index or Thailand Sustainability Index. So let me go, since the THSI is a big thing among us for now, let me go a bit and go through with you a bit on what it means by THSI index. Next page, please. THSI index is an index created by the Stock Exchange of Thailand. It talks about the sustainable business, which drive a long-term return on investment and to social and environmental impact. So this transparent and with right governance will make the business, become more sustainable. And we are in the process of certifying by the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Next, please. Next page now. Next page, please. We are in the process of we call SD journey. So we are in the process of certifying by the Stock Exchange of Thailand to become one of their THSI companies, pool of company. So we are very certain or confident that we will be able to certify on this, and this is going to be another big step to show to drive that we are very serious and take every action into become the sustainable business. I think it's the same as other glass manufacturers, to drive this sustainability as well. So in summary, my last slide, talking about glass packaging, glass packaging has a benefit in different angles of the 3Rs economy. Mostly, I would say it's reusability and recycling ability. Reusability in terms of cullets, which again we use about 60,000 tons per year, and recycling ability in terms of returnable return bottles. Second, as other industry is quite challenging for us in terms of consumption. especially energy consumption. So we have to find, and we are working towards, making sure that we consume what is needed for energies, not too much, so that we can manage the in and output of the energy. And last, also, all glass manufacturers have put a number of efforts to increase the glass the benefit size of the glass packaging, at the same time reducing the challenges. This effort, coming from internal, which is come from the company, and also from working with our customers as well, to make sure that we become more and more sustainable for the business, for the industry, and for the world. Okay, so I think this is my last slide. I have about 10 more minutes, which I want to open for any question if there is, or if anyone want me to clarify any point that I said, we can spend about 10 minutes together on this during this time.
So thank you very much, Kun Silaparat. So I would like to invite Kun Wanarot to be on the Q&A session together. So ladies and gentlemen, dear my audience, let's make the world better together with one by one. So I will throw one question and let's start with the lady first. So the question is, after COVID, Kun Wanarot, what is the effect and the trend that happened with the business on the can aluminum packaging?
Thank you, Kun Rose, for that question. So actually, after the COVID, you see a lot more, in-home consumption. So there's a lot of new occasions happening from the consumer behavior that had to change during the pandemic time. So we're home more. So there's a lot of home consumption that's happening. So then we also see a lot of new product categories that go into cans. And with the quality of the cans and key benefits that the cans bring with easily to handle and to transport and all that. So the consumers really respond well to the product in cans. They can drink at home, it chill faster, it stay in the fridge. And yeah, it's really, mostly I would say we see a lot of new occasion in consumption.
That we can see the growth that happened. So back to Kun Silaparat. So what do you think, what you have experienced with the COVID situation affect to the glass business in the packaging?
Actually, I think as many other business, we see a big downtrend during the pandemic time, which is about the second quarter of this year. Having said that, after the situation has been released better, especially for Thailand, we see a coming back trend in terms of glass packaging. Glass packaging, has some characteristic that I think it is not even easy to be replaced by other packaging. So we see the trend, although it went down in the second quarter, we see that it's coming back strongly in the third quarter, and we hope that it will continue this trend in the rest of the year as well.
All right, so we see the effect on both sector. However, the key things that happen with the sustainable packaging, both aluminum can and glass would be the alcohol business. So I would like to ask both of you again, with the social distancing, closing and lockdown the city, how you see the effect of the alcohol business to the packaging, both can and glass. I go to Kun Nat first.
With the pandemic and the alcohol consumption, I think I don't think consumer would drink less, but for us, it's more being more innovative in the can sizes that have a wider ranges in sizes and all that to really support brands in terms of, you know, coming out with new products that, you know, being more affordable for the consumer. Consumers still looking for that happy moment and in life and during this COVID time. I honestly speaking, there's a lot of new occasion in drinking and new opportunities going forward, and the consumer has responded to the can packaging really well. A lot of takeaway. Maybe not so much in Thailand, but in other parts of the world like Europe and America, and many craft beers in elsewhere in other region. There's a growth in using refillable cans on premise to, you know, consumer can then now take their favorite beer home.
All right, so I would go next to Kun Silaparat. So the effect on the consumption of alcohol business toward the glass industry.
I would say that we don't see much of the impact. Of course, as I said, during the second quarter of this year, business, especially the alcohol business, went down a lot, but it's returned back. So not much impact to us in terms of except as I said, the second quarter. Otherwise, no, I think it's become business as usual for us.
All right, so now I come to the next question. We can see both of our speakers talking a lot on sustainability. So what I would like to ask is about how both can and glass could work in the sustainability when you have the label on your packaging. So the question I would ask is about how the new technology of the glass and can container can do more with putting the label into your sustainability program. So some people said the sustainability by glass and can itself, we could understand, but when we have the label on and even the wax on those, what will happen, how is the future or innovation? So I go to Kun Nat first.
Thank you, Kun Rose. I think this is a very good question. So ideally, if you go to a store now, any retail supermarket or C-store, you'll see that most of the aluminum beverage cans are printed cans. So they rarely have other material label on them. So that is the majority of the cans are in the markets are like that. But in some case, yeah, we may see smaller businesses, smaller size businesses have put some labels on the cans for its launch phase, product introductions and all that, and within the business scales and all that, it's understandable. And I mean, the ideal label would be paper, but this is really, honestly speaking, it's the question for the label making company. for us is we prefer and mostly our cans are printed on. Yeah. So the whole can, when it's printed on, then the full whole can be recycled. Doesn't matter it's color. It can totally be recyclable 100%.
And it has to be the how do you say the eco printing type or any type of the printing on the label.
So if you see now cans in the store, most of them are printed cans, so meaning there's no label on them. So that already easily sorted, collected, and recycled, because without no label, that's really reduced the third, or secondary materials that could get contaminated into the recycling stream. But in some cases, as probably the person who asked this question, you probably see some cans are wrapped by paper label or plastic label. So I mean, ideally for paper, it will come off easier once it go through collection, sorting, baling. Those will come off easily, and when it go through the remelting, smelting, and when the coats and the inks come off, that will come off right away. But ideally, most of our cans that we produce, it's printed on cans, and most of the aluminum packaging you see in the market today are printed on cans. So maybe this is a better question for the label company, like I said.
So I will take note on this and make sure that during ProPak, we focus on the label as well. Now come to our CEO here. So Kun Silaparat, so what about the glass sector?
I think same as can. We have both printed on bottle, and we have labels, different kind of labels, paper or flexible plastic labels. We in some of our customer, we work with our customer how to reduce the size of the label by with the design of the bottles. We also have that. But I don't think that is a big, big opportunity for bottle producer to drive the less usage of the labels. I agree that it should be. It also the responsibility or the work, the effort from the label producer side as well on how to make it more eco-friendly on their labels. But having said that, as I said, we also put efforts with some of our customers to reduce or to move from the can from the flexible plastic label into printed on the bottle material.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the audience here, we could make the world better together. So if you have enjoy your drink, like for example, beer, and you have the plastic as label, when you do the waste management at home, better take the plastic out to the one of your waste basket and the bottle to the recycle one. That would help the world from your household already. So I come to the next question. I would go to Kun Silaparat on the glass sector. So as Kun Silaparat already mentioned a bit on the reusable and non-reusable for the producer in Thailand, I would say that for the glass bottle will go for like for water, it will be mostly reusable, that they will return and reuse it. But for beer, mostly what I see in the market, it is buy and it's not reused back to the producer. So the question here is the BGC as the big company. So you have any plan for any solution for those non-reusable like the beer bottle? Any plan to work with the producer on that solution?
In fact, you'll be surprised if I say that some of the beers or other beverage also use a returnable bottle. but as you said, it's a small ratio compared to the water drinking industry. In terms water drinking, a glass bottle of the water drinking water. So we also we have many efforts, to, for example, we use different technology to use less glass, liquid into making a bottle, so making it lighter, use less energy in terms of production, use less energy in terms of delivering. We also have other effort to make it stronger, so it can be more returned for the customer that requires the bottle to be returnable. So I would say, mostly it's technologies that we invest in to make it more reusable or make it lighter for the for the bottles of our customers.
All right. So the answer is the innovation and technology that used for the glass producer, like from BTC. What they are doing is not just reduce the weight of the glass bottle, but they're also thinking about when logistics happen, how to make it more convenient. So I would ask Kun Silaparat on another question that Thailand is moving toward the aging society. So meaning to say like glass is the next champion after the aluminum can. So how you see the way or innovation and technology to serve the glass packaging for the aging society, because in the glass itself, it needs to have the pull opener, which is, I would say that we have CEO Kun Silaparat here. I think we would hear about the direction, how to serve the market that the aging society is there and also reachable to the children. Yeah.
Good question. We have different designs, innovation. I think I would say, for example, we trying to make it less slippery by putting some, something into the bottle, so the handle is more, is less slipper for the elder, and also we make it lighter, so making sure that is lighter for the elder as well. Apart from that, I still don't see, but I think it's a good question that we will have to look more in our aging society, how we can drive our innovation towards that, I think.
All right. So right now we come to Kun Nat about the innovation for the aluminum can. I would understand that the lightweight is there and the aluminum put in the refrigerator could save the energy because it is can be cool quicker. I would say in that direction, the innovation done. Can you share a bit what is the innovation with the can sector that you have done and what is the future? Especially the same question to our CEO is like on the aging society, because for me, the pull up is very difficult sometimes. So how is the solution from the can producer?
So from your questions, there's two parts. So one question is around the aging society and the product, right? And then another question is around innovation of aluminum cans. So for the aging society, I think with the handling of aluminum cans and the product range that we have now, so many different diameters. So Ball actually produced more than 30 variety of can sizes and diameters, so that it's already easily to handle in most cases. And opening, stay on tap and all that is in some cases for women, I can understand it can be difficult, but it's really you know, the cans that we do make you know, tend to have less problem. So handling it's key. And I understand about the diameter, handling of the shape, you know, keep it with that the fit within the hands and when you feel it. And another innovation that we have and we're working on now is aluminum bottles. So bottles also can go in different diameter, so it fits perfectly in the hands as well. And it can also be shaped. So if you see aerosol cans in the supermarket, it might not be widely used for beverage at the moment, but is continue to grow into the new beverage category as we see the consumer behavior are changing. And as for the innovation that we're doing now, in, you know, on top of metal efficiency in our cans, we're continuing to develop new products, including, if you remember from the presentation, is aluminum cup. So we recently launched the aluminum cups the beginning of this year, around February. So that is our latest innovation, and we're seeing a lot of good opportunity and potential to help brands in terms of sustainability, and also help the society and environment to reduce some of the problems that we have right now.
All right, thank you very much, Kun Nat. So I come to the last question. So we will stay on time, 5:15, okay? So my last question is go to both of you again. The question is on about water footprint, carbon footprint. So I would say that both company, Ball and BGC, has done a lot of work on the sustainability. We both, and even in Pharma, we are looking for better world. So I would like to ask our CEO here, Kun Silparat, to mention a bit on how he focused on the water footprint and carbon footprint for the end for this session, and then go to Kun Nat.
Carbon footprint, you know, I think mostly we use equipments and technology to control since the beginning. So as I said, no, we use technologies to reduce the energy that we use in the system. So you know, using less energy, you know, also giving less carbon to be released. But so that's the beginning of the process. No, along the process to the end of the process, we also put different technologies both in software to control the machine and also the hardware as a machine itself, to make sure that we you know, giving out, or we screen out, or we clean the you know, carbon as much as possible. Hybrid technology also another thing that we use, you know, as said, no, so use more electricity, which gives out less carbon. So you know, in a nutshell, in conclusion, you know, I would say that technology is what you know, we use to drive what we talk about the carbon and also the water footprints.
I may ask a bit on this footprint. Can you elaborate more on the water footprint, how you do about it? Because when we are talking about reusable glass bottle, so there is a question from the audience here on how we handle the consumption, the usage of the water for that reusable.
I'm not sure, you know, how it's related, you know, the reusable water and the water that we use in the production site.
Probably the cleaning.
Because, you know, we don't clean the bottle. It's our customer, you know, who collect the reusable bottle, and they also the one who, you know, cleaned in their lines, you know. So from our factory, we sell only new bottles.
All right, so it is clear, ladies and gentlemen, for those who ask the question on the reusable, your concern on water, I think this question would go to the producer. So thank you very much,ค่ะคุณศิลปรัตน์ So next go to คุณนัทค่ะ
So we're doing a lot on the carbon footprint reduction and making our can as green as we can. If any of you remember from my presentation, there's 5 areas that we're looking at. So firstly is around the ASI, which is aluminum stewardship. So we're really focusing on responsibly sourcing aluminum. So we're committing to only buy aluminum with high recycled content. And this is the collaboration and initiatives that we're working with our suppliers. And now our suppliers is also going to get ASI certified to make sure that their plant and also in their production is taking care of the environmental impact that could have from the production process, because that part we cannot control. So we can control our operation, sustainability in our plants, in our production, but the life cycle of the product, it's not only from us. So our goal is to make this whole value chain the more sustainable as we can. So our supplier, our aluminum supplier is very crucial and very important in part of our climate change leadership that we're taking, because they also have the technology to make our aluminum can sheet has more recycled content, while we're working with them and the community to increase the recycling rate. So the more we recycle aluminum, the more recycled content we can get. And with that collaboration of all stakeholders, we can reduce a lot of environmental impacts in our aluminum cans. And on top of the metal efficiency, I think the stewardship in our product and material sourcing, I think it's key.
All right, so I would like to thank you from informal markets to the Thai Beverage Association, and also to Kun Silparat and Kun Wannarot for being our speakers today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all consumers. Please be conscious in buying the products, and also when you finish it, you have to be conscious on throwing it away. So let's make the world better together with the sustainable approach from your household. So today I would like to thank you all the audience and the stakeholders who be involved in this webinar, and I hope to bring more and more sustainable conference to you guys, and see you in ProPak Asia, both online and physical. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณค่ะ